When you pass the age of 60, the body begins to speak a different language. It no longer shouts like in youth, it whispers, a stiff joint in the morning, a restless night, a quiet heaviness after meals. Not pain exactly, but discomfort, a message. Most ignore it. They brush it off as normal aging. But I invite you to see it differently. The body is not punishing you. It is asking for your attention. You see, in youth, we could eat almost anything. The body burned, processed, endured. But after 60, digestion slows, inflammation lingers longer, the immune system loses sharpness, and what once was just food now becomes a silent source of suffering. One of the greatest delusions in modern life is this, that aging means decline and decline is inevitable. But this is not truth, it is habit, and habits can be changed. If you listen, truly listen, your body will tell you, I no longer want what I used to crave. I need something gentler now, something that helps me heal. So today, I will walk with you through 10 types of food that are not enemies, but that no longer serve the version of you that you are becoming. Let us not eat from memory. Let us eat with presence. Let us eat with wisdom. 1. Processed meats, the silent weight of convenience. There is a kind of hunger that rises not from the stomach, but from memory. You open the fridge. You see sliced ham, a strip of bacon, a sausage waiting to sizzle, quick, familiar, comforting. But at what cost? Processed meats, ham, bacon, sausages, deli slices are foods built for shelf life, not for your life. To preserve them, they are loaded with nitrates, nitrites, and sodium. These compounds, once inside the body, can transform into carcinogens, substances known to cause cancer, particularly colorectal cancer. The World Health Organization classifies processed meats as a Group 1 carcinogen, the same category as tobacco. That is not fear, that is fact. But it's not just about cancer. These meats are often high in saturated fats, which raise LDL cholesterol, the bad kind. And as arteries stiffen with age, that extra fat and salt can push blood pressure higher, increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Now ask yourself, is a sandwich worth that silent weight? After 60, digestion slows, the kidneys work harder, the heart beats with more effort. We cannot ask them to process toxins and salt while also expecting peace and clarity in return. I do not ask you to live without flavor. I invite you to live with awareness. Steam fresh fish with herbs. Let your food nourish, not numb, because healing does not always come from medicine. Sometimes it begins by removing what no longer serves your life. Let each bite be a choice, not from habit, but from wisdom. From who you used to be to who you are now becoming. 2. Sugary drinks, sweetness that steals. Not all poisons wear a bitter face. Some arrive with bubbles, a bright label, and a smile. Sugary drinks, sodas, sweetened teas, fruit punches, energy drinks, they sparkle with pleasure but leave behind a trail of damage. A single can of soda contains up to 40 grams of sugar. That's 10 teaspoons, flooding your bloodstream in moments, and with it comes a sharp spike in blood sugar, forcing your pancreas to pump out insulin like a drowning man gasping for air. Over time, this repeated assault wears down your body's ability to respond. Insulin resistance develops, and with it, type 2 diabetes, a disease that now affects nearly 1 in 4 Americans over 65. But the harm doesn't stop there. Sugary drinks also promote chronic inflammation, the quiet fire beneath heart disease, joint pain, and cognitive decline. And yet, we drink them because they are sweet. Because they are easy, because they remind us of youth. But let me ask you this, if something makes you feel good for 5 minutes but harms you for 5 years, is it still kindness? After 60, your body needs hydration, not stimulation. It needs calm, not chaos. Try replacing sodas with herbal teas, iced water with a slice of lemon, warm cinnamon water in the morning. These are not just beverages, they are medicine from the earth. They bring no sugar crash, no hidden threat, only balance. Remember, sweetness should come from life, not from a label. So before the next sip, pause, feel your breath, ask your body, is this what you truly need? And then choose, not from habit, but from love. 3. Excess salt, the heavy quiet in the blood. Salt is ancient. It has preserved food, healed wounds, and seasoned life. But today, salt is no longer just a pinch in the pot. It is hidden, multiplied, and poured into everything we eat, even when we don't taste it. After 60, the body becomes more sensitive to salt. The arteries lose elasticity, the kidneys filter slower. Excess sodium begins to hold onto water, increasing the volume of blood, raising blood pressure silently, a condition known as hypertension. Nearly 2 out of 3 adults over 60 in the US have high blood pressure, and most don't even know it. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day for older adults. But a single canned soup or frozen meal can exceed that. Even bread and breakfast cereals quietly add up. And with each bite, the pressure builds, not just in the blood, but in the brain, the heart, the kidneys. High salt intake is linked to heart disease, stroke, and even cognitive decline. The body begins to carry a weight it cannot release. But this is not a call to fear flavor. It is a call to rediscover it. Use herbs, rosemary, thyme, basil. Use citrus, lemon, lime, orange, zest. Use spices, turmeric, ginger. Let your tongue remember the complexity of nature, not just the simplicity of salt. Every meal is a chance to reduce pressure, both physical and emotional. You don't need to change everything at once. Begin with one meal, one less pinch, one more breath, because balance does not begin on the plate. It begins in the mind that chooses what to put there. 4. Canned and highly processed foods, preserved but not alive. There is a kind of stillness that nurtures, and there is another that suffocates. Canned and heavily processed foods, frozen dinners, boxed meals, instant noodles, packaged soups and sauces, they are still not because they are peaceful, but because they are preserved. These products are made to sit on shelves for months, sometimes years. To do that, they rely on a heavy mix of preservatives, stabilizers, refined sugars, and especially sodium. A single serving of canned soup can contain over 800 milligrams of sodium. A frozen entree may hide 20 to 30 chemical ingredients you cannot pronounce. The convenience is tempting for those who live alone or no longer cook as they once did. These meals offer comfort with no effort, but inside the body, they tell a different story. Too much processed food contributes to chronic inflammation, a key factor in heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, and even Alzheimer's disease. And with age, the body loses its ability to filter and detoxify quickly. The result? Fatigue, brain fog, a quiet erosion of vitality. But this is not about returning to the kitchen for hours. It's about choosing freshness where you can. Boil fresh vegetables. Steam brown rice, warm lentil soup made from scratch even once a week, or better yet, cook in bulk and freeze your own meals, giving your future self something nourishing to return to. Because healing is not found in food that merely fills, it is found in food that breathes. Ask yourself, was this food made for life or made to last? Let that question guide you. Let simplicity return to your plate, and let awareness return to your choices. The less your food is processed, the more your body can rest. 5. Trans fats, the illusion of taste, the reality of harm. There is a kind of deception that hides not in lies, but in appearances. Trans fats, they are the shapeshifters of the food world. They promise crispness, smooth texture, longer shelf life. They live in margarine, packaged pastries, microwave popcorn, crackers, donuts, fried fast food. They taste indulgent, nostalgic, but their effect on the body is neither sweet nor comforting. What are they truly? Trans fats, also known as partially hydrogenated oils, are created when hydrogen is added to liquid vegetable oil, turning it into a solid fat. This process makes food more stable, but in the body, it creates instability. They raise LDL cholesterol, the kind that clogs arteries. They lower HDL cholesterol, the kind that protects the heart. This double blow makes trans fats uniquely dangerous. According to the Harvard School of Public Health, for every 2% of calories consumed from trans fats daily, the risk of heart disease increases by 23%. That is not gradual. It is aggressive. For older adults whose blood vessels are already less flexible, whose hearts are already working harder, this is like adding fuel to a fragile fire. Even small amounts matter. Many baked goods labeled zero trans fat can still legally contain up to 0.5 grams per serving. And those grams accumulate meal after meal, day after day. But the real danger is this. Trans fats don't just harm the body. They create cravings. They teach the tongue to desire texture over truth, convenience over care. This is not a call to abandon pleasure. It is an invitation to redefine it. Bake with olive oil instead of margarine. Choose snacks with whole ingredients you recognize. Check the label. Avoid anything with partially hydrogenated oil. Let your choices become a quiet act of protection. The taste of health is not always immediate, but over time, it is the taste of energy, of clearer mornings, of fewer pills, of freedom. Remember, not everything that delights the tongue nourishes the body, and not everything that lasts on the shelf deserves a place in your life. Choose what honors your years. Choose what lets you live not just longer, but lighter. 6. Sweetened beverages, the masked sugar in disguise. Not all sweetness is honest. Some wear the mask of fruit, of energy, of vitality, but carry hidden burdens the body must quietly bear. Sweetened beverages, fruit juices, energy drinks, flavored waters, even sports drinks, often present themselves as the healthier alternative. After all, it's fruit, isn't it? It gives energy, doesn't it? But let's look deeper. A single glass of commercial orange juice can contain over 25 grams of sugar, almost as much as a soda. Energy drinks may reach 30 to 40 grams, delivering not just sugar, but caffeine, artificial flavors, and acid that wears away at both teeth and stability. The problem is not just sugar, it's concentration without fiber. When you eat a whole orange, fiber slows the absorption of sugar. Your body digests it gently. But when you drink juice, you receive only the sugar. Fast, unfiltered, unbuffered. For those over 60 whose insulin response has slowed, whose blood vessels have aged, and whose organs are more fragile, this sudden sugar spike can be harmful. It increases the risk of type 2 diabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, heart disease, and may even accelerate cognitive decline through chronic low-grade inflammation. But there's another layer. Sweet drinks often replace water, and dehydration, even mild, can lead to dizziness, confusion, and fatigue, mistaken as signs of aging, but truly just signals of imbalance. So what can we choose instead? Filtered water with slices of lemon or cucumber. Herbal teas, chamomile, peppermint, ginger. Sparkling water with a splash of 100% fruit juice. Warm water with cinnamon in the morning to awaken the blood gently. These are not compromises, they are gifts. Small rituals of care that honor the body's changing rhythm. The goal is not to punish the tongue, but to retrain it. To remember that real sweetness comes from presence, not from packaging. So next time you reach for a bottle, pause, ask, does this nourish me or does it only entertain me? Let the answer guide your hand, and in that quiet choice, you reclaim not just health, but peace. 7, refined carbohydrates, the hollow imitation of wholeness. There is a difference between being full and being nourished. Refined carbohydrates, white bread, white rice, pasta, pastries, many breakfast cereals, are foods that once had wholeness, but have been stripped of their fiber, vitamins, and minerals, leaving only the starch behind. They look soft, they taste simple. They are easy to chew, easy to cook, easy to digest, but also easy to forget the cost. When you eat refined carbs, your body quickly breaks them down into glucose. This causes a rapid spike in blood sugar, followed by a sharp drop, leaving you tired, foggy, or craving more. Over time, this constant cycle can wear down your insulin response, leading to type 2 diabetes, weight gain, and increased inflammation. For older adults, this is especially risky. Muscle mass decreases with age, metabolism slows, and the body becomes less efficient at processing sugar. Yet many meals still begin with a slice of white bread, a bowl of white rice, a plate of pasta, because it feels familiar. But familiarity is not the same as harmony. What the body truly needs now is steady energy, not spikes, fiber to support digestion and feed the gut microbiome, whole grains to protect the heart and stabilize blood sugar. Instead of white bread, choose whole grain. Instead of white rice, try brown rice, quinoa, or farro. Instead of sugary cereal, try steel-cut oats topped with seeds and berries. These are not punishments, they are invitations to return to food in its natural form, to chew more slowly, to feel the texture, to reconnect. Even if you've eaten a certain way your whole life, you are allowed to change, not because you are broken, but because you are becoming more aware. Remember, empty calories do not fill the soul, and convenience is not always compassion. Choose food that sustains, food that stabilizes, food that whispers, I'm here to help you carry this day, not drag you through it. Because the goal is not just to live longer, but to walk lighter and to walk with clarity. 8. Full-fat dairy products, comfort that clouds the body. There are foods we turn to not out of hunger, but for comfort. A warm glass of milk, a slice of creamy cheese, a spoonful of ice cream at the end of a long day. Dairy is often wrapped in memory of childhood, of family, of nourishment. But as the body ages, its relationship with dairy quietly changes. Many full-fat dairy products, such as whole milk, heavy cream, butter, and rich cheeses, contain high levels of saturated fat. This type of fat raises LDL cholesterol, the kind that clogs arteries and increases the risk of heart disease and stroke. According to the American Heart Association, limiting saturated fat to less than 6% of daily calories is especially important for adults over 60 whose blood vessels are less elastic and whose hearts require more care, not more strain. But there's more. As we grow older, the body's production of lactase, the enzyme needed to digest lactose in milk, decreases. This can lead to bloating, gas, and discomfort, often mistaken for unrelated health issues. And dairy doesn't only affect the gut. Some studies link high dairy intake to increased inflammation, particularly in individuals already prone to joint pain or arthritis. So what then is the path forward? Not complete rejection, but conscious substitution. Instead of whole milk, try unsweetened almond, oat, or soy milk. Instead of full-fat cheese, explore low-fat options or smaller portions. These small choices do not erase joy, they refine it. Because the goal is not to eat without pleasure, but to find new pleasures that do not cost the body peace. Ask yourself, does this food comfort only the tongue, or does it also respect the body? In this stage of life, comfort is not just softness or warmth. It is clarity, lightness, and the freedom to move without burden. Let dairy be a choice, not a habit, and let that choice come from awareness, not nostalgia. Because healing doesn't mean letting go of everything. It means holding only what still serves you. 9. Fried foods and fast food, flames that leave ashes. There is a kind of hunger that comes not from the stomach, but from fatigue. You're tired, you don't want to cook, and the smell of something fried, hot, crispy, immediate, feels like a solution. But not everything warm is nourishing, and not everything fast is kind. Fried foods, French fries, fried chicken, onion rings, and fast food meals, burgers, nuggets, drive-through sandwiches are often cooked in refined oils, heated at high temperatures. This process produces trans fats, advanced glycation end products, AGs, and oxidized compounds, all of which fuel inflammation in the body. Inflammation is not just a word. It is a slow-burning fire that underlies many chronic conditions: heart disease, arthritis, type 2 diabetes, and Alzheimer's disease. Studies have shown that those who frequently consume fried foods have a significantly higher risk of developing these diseases, especially as the body ages and becomes less efficient at repairing itself. But the danger of fast food is not only in the frying. It is in the salt, the sugar, the preservatives, the portion sizes that have quietly doubled over decades. And perhaps most dangerous of all, it is in the habit. Because when something is easy, it repeats, and repetition becomes identity. So what do we do? When we are tired, when we crave comfort, we slow down, roast vegetables with olive oil and rosemary, air fry sweet potatoes, make a simple stir fry with tofu and fresh greens, keep soups frozen for busy days. You don't need gourmet meals. You need meals made with intention. Let cooking be a meditation. Let simplicity become your ally, because after 60, the body doesn't recover as fast. Each fried meal may not hurt today, but it leaves a residue, a heaviness, a fog, a slow decline that is difficult to notice until it becomes hard to reverse. Ask yourself, is this food giving me energy or is it taking it away? Let your plate reflect how you want to feel: clear, steady, light. True strength is not in resistance, but in choosing differently, gently, again and again. 10. Alcohol. The illusion of ease, the reality of burden. Alcohol doesn't arrive with violence. It arrives with laughter, with relaxation, with memories of celebration, and moments of release. One glass of wine in the evening, a beer with an old friend, a sip of whiskey to unwind. And yet, what begins as comfort often becomes quiet erosion. As the body ages, its ability to process alcohol changes. The liver slows down, body water decreases, alcohol stays in the bloodstream longer, and its effects become stronger, even with smaller amounts. What once felt light now burdens the mind, the heart, the sleep. According to the National Institute on Aging, alcohol can interfere with medications, worsen high blood pressure, increase the risk of falls, and contribute to memory loss or confusion, symptoms often mistaken for aging itself. Long-term drinking also raises the risk of liver disease, certain cancers, and cognitive decline. But beyond the science, there is the question of presence. Alcohol numbs. It softens the edge of emotion, but it also blurs the clarity of awareness. After 60, clarity is no longer a luxury. It is protection. Does this mean you must never drink again? Not necessarily. But it does mean every sip should be a conscious choice, not a habit, not a reflex, not a routine masked as pleasure. Try sparkling water with lime, a calming herbal tea in the evening, warm turmeric milk made with plant-based alternatives. These drinks don't sedate the mind, they soothe it without taking anything away. If alcohol has become a silent companion, ask, is it easing my pain or postponing my peace? This stage of life is sacred. And sacred things are not meant to be blurred. They are meant to be seen clearly, fully, with reverence. Let each drink be a moment of awareness, a question answered with honesty. Because true relaxation does not come in a glass. It comes in knowing you are living in alignment with what your body truly needs. To live beyond 60 is a gift, a chapter not of fading, but of returning to stillness, to simplicity, to the wisdom of the body which no longer rushes but listens. Through these 10 types of food, we did not create rules, we uncovered reminders that not everything our tongue craves, our body welcomes, and not everything convenient is kind. You see, food is not just fuel, it is information. Every bite tells your body what to do, to inflame or to heal, to tense or to relax, to store or to release. In youth, the body is forgiving, but in age, the body becomes truthful. truthful. It reflects exactly what we give it, no more, no less. This is not punishment. This is clarity, the kind that only time can teach. So what now? Do we fear food? Number. Do we reject every craving? Number. We shift from habit to presence, from impulse to intention. Not every change must happen overnight, but every change must happen from within. Start with one choice, one less processed meal, one more glass of water, one moment of asking, does this serve who I am becoming? And when you forget, return, not with guilt, but with gentleness. This path is not about control. It is about care. It is not about restriction. It is about freedom from fatigue, from inflammation, from the quiet suffering we often accept as just aging. You are not here to fade. You are here to feel, to wake up each day with energy that supports your purpose, whatever it may be now, to eat not to survive, but to awaken. Let food be your ally, not your enemy. Let your kitchen become a place of quiet medicine. Let your plate become an altar where healing begins with attention. And when others ask why you eat the way you do, tell them this: because I have lived long enough to know what matters, and I choose to honor it with every bite.